Hey guys, this is Matt from Amateur Filmies, and for today's video we'll be going through our Vinegar Syndrome collection. As a lot of you collectors know, Vinegar Syndrome is known for having sales during the Black Friday period, which happens at the end of November, so we thought it'd be a good time to show off what we have, and yeah, we hope you enjoy. So I want to start off by apologising in advance. I believe Winston is snoring loud enough to be picked up on the microphone, so if you hear that throughout the duration of the video, I do apologise in advance. Don't have the heart to kick him out again, unfortunately. So Sarah and I are actually quite new to collecting Vinegar Syndrome. We only started buying from them for the first time earlier this year, and during the first sale, and we got 8 titles, so these are the ones that we're going to be talking about. Our collection of Vinegar Syndrome is obviously not as extensive as some of the other ones we've shown in the past, like our Arrow Video or 88 Films collection. But we did want to talk about them anyway because it gives us a chance to show off more of our collection, and we'll probably be doing the same for like our Eureka collection, Grindhouse releasing, and maybe even Severin, where we only have like just a handful of titles to show. But as I said, it gives us a chance to show off more of our stuff and talk about these films with you. So of these 8 films, I've watched 5 of them so far. You know how it is as a collector where obviously you buy from a lot of labels and the watch pile starts to grow and grow and grow. So eventually we'll catch up. I've only got 3 left to catch up on. But as such, I will show the 3 that I haven't seen first, and then we'll talk about the ones that I have actually watched. I should say as well, the artwork, pretty much all across the board with at least the releases I have, the artwork is just incredible. And I'll be sure to show the alternative artwork on screen as well. But yeah, the first one, Mausoleum. The artwork on this one is what drew me to it initially, actually, and I watched the trailer, and it looks really cool. Basically, my understanding, it's like based on a generational curse by way of demonic possession, right up my alley. The acting looks super corny, but the blood and the gore effects and the makeup stuff looks really cool. So I'm really looking forward to checking this one out for the first time. I'll definitely be watching this pretty soon, actually, because I do want to get through the ones I haven't seen. The next of the 3 that I haven't seen yet is Star Time. Now this one looks really interesting, actually. I'll really quickly read the plot on the back just because it'll set it up nicely. Henry Pinkel lives for television. This world of make-believe consumes his every waking moment. But when his favourite show is cancelled, Henry is driven over the edge and decides to commit suicide. Then he meets Sam Bones, a mysterious agent who promises Henry happiness and stardom if he follows his instructions, engulfing Henry into an increasingly downward spiral of brutality and murder. I watched the trailer of this as well, obviously before I buy. I like to do that. And yes, it looks, I don't know if it's just the way the trailer is shot, but some of the sequences look like really dreamy and really interesting. And I believe actually 88 Films, I think, just recently had a release of that. So if you're in the UK, maybe that'll be a cheaper way to get it as well. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to watching this one. It looks like an interesting slasher. So this is the last of the 3 that I'm yet to watch, but I will be watching this one soon because it looks awesome. This is Uninvited. Now, Vinegar Syndrome is known for their slipcovers. Now, of the 8 that I have, I only have 2 that have slipcovers. Not that I don't like them. They're actually probably the highest quality slipcovers that I've ever owned, to be honest. But unfortunately, they do sell out really quickly, and it's just one of those things where I just really want, in the case of slipcovers, I just really just want to own the movie as opposed to having to hunt down the slipcovers for a higher price, because some of them can go for a really high price. At a secluded biochemical lab which runs cruel tests on animals, a seemingly innocent-looking cat has just escaped, but beneath its furry exterior, a terrifying monster has been seeded, emerging to brutally maim and kill anyone it finds threatening. I honestly can't wait to watch this one. It's also got George Kennedy in it, who's always great to watch on screen as well. But yeah, it should be a really fun time. I don't know what's going on with the filming of this video. There's just so many different animal sounds. I got Winston snoring in the background. Now there's a cat outside. I don't own a cat. There's a cat meowing outside my window. I don't know if you can hear that. So with the 5 that we have left, I have seen them all, so I'll have more to say about them. The first of which here is Body Melt. Now, funnily enough, this is actually an Australian film, and one of the reasons I really wanted to get this is I commonly see it paired up with the film Street Trash, which I showed off in our 88 Films collection video, and I'm a big fan of that movie. I thought it was really fun, so I thought that I'd like this one as well. And I watched this one today, actually, and it was definitely a strange one. Yeah, just like with Street Trash, this had just a whole host of, like, crazy characters and, like, really good, gore and gross effects and stuff like that. But it was, just a very surreal film. It felt like it was trying to be an anthology film with the way that it sort of explored what the characters were doing and the sort of scenarios that they got up to. And unfortunately, the result of that is sort of the fact that they were focusing on all these different characters, and it didn't really fit into this like an overarching plot. If you asked me what the film was about, I could give you like a basic summary of what is going on in this film, but it just, in practice, it doesn't really make a whole lot of coherent sense. That being said, it was quite a fun watch regardless. It's one of those things you just sort of sit back and enjoy what you're watching and try not to think about it too much. So in that regard, I would recommend this movie, but yeah, pretty niche interest. Do your research on this one before you buy it. So next up, we have the film Incubus. So this film came out in 1981 and actually stars John Cassavetes in the lead role, which I thought was quite interesting. But basically, it's a murder mystery with a little bit of a twist on it. I won't reveal too much about it, but essentially there are a lot of sort of grisly murders going on, and we know that the thing or person who's killing them is not quite of this world, if that makes sense. I remember when I was first looking up this movie, when I was interested in buying it, I remember reading things that sort of remind me of the film The Beast Within that Arrow Video put out, and I actually quite liked that film, so I thought I'd give this one a try. Definitely prefer The Beast Within, although this is a semi-decent movie. I think there were quite a lot of pacing issues in this, and it was a little bit tamer than what I was expecting, especially given the sort of dark nature of the plot. Yeah, not my favourite are the ones that I'm about to show. This next one's an intense one, I should say. Here we have The Suckling. The colours just pop on that cover. Absolutely savage. I watched this for the first time a few weeks ago with my brother Chris, and we had a good time watching it. I won't go much into the plot, but if you're familiar with this movie, you know how whacked out it is. As you can expect with movies like The Suckling, the acting is quite corny, which is a common thing with the other films, but I don't mind that usually. I will say one thing I do want to compliment this movie on actually is the way that they handle the budget, I guess you could say. Like, they really made the most of what they could do with the setting and the creature effects. Now that is definitely the absolute highlight of this film, is the creature effects. It looks, once the thing is fully grown, it just looks like so scary and just really creepy. Just absolutely insane. I think overall they could have gone a lot more gorier on the kills. With a movie like this, that's one of the main draws you want to sort of hook your audience with is, you know, no one's going to watch this movie for like a really deeply complex plot or anything. They want to go and see some pretty, like, some wacky kills and stuff like that. And I think on that front that it fell a little bit short. They could have gone a little bit more gorier. But overall, I don't regret watching it. It's actually, it was fun to watch with my brother. Don't know when I'll be rewatching this one, but yeah, not too bad. So I saved my favorites for the last two. Here we have Ice Cream Man. I don't know if you can make that out, but yeah, that's a skull in the ice cream. That looks sick. And just to show how wacky this film is, before I even go into talking about it, here's a picture on the back of a dude's head in an ice cream cone. This film came out in 1994, which is actually the year I was born, and stars Clint Howard in the leading role, and you can tell he had a lot of fun with this role. He's just extremely eccentric, and he just plays up the role of the Ice Cream Man just so well, I think. Despite being a direct-to-video film, I actually think it's really competently made. I really enjoyed this movie, and weird word to describe it, but the movie's quite almost whimsical in nature. Like, I know it's a really strange word to say, but if you've seen the movie, you probably know what it means. It's very tonally different from what I was expecting. I was sort of thinking I was going to be watching just a generic slasher film, but with just a funny twist on the top. But tonally, it's actually quite different than your sort of normal slasher, if that makes sense. It's got really fun music, and it was really cool how the film alternates between Clint Howard, the Ice Cream Man's perspective, and the kids in the movie who sort of all are living in fear of the Ice Cream Man. If you're new to Collecting Vinegar Syndrome, or you just haven't seen this film before, I would really recommend it if you sort of like those low budget slashers. But yes, highly recommended. Okay, I've saved my personal favourite for last. Ice Cream Man is a close second, but I think this one takes the cake. This is Jack Frost. It's probably my favourite design-wise of all the ones I've shown. Some of the things I say about this film will be similar to what I said about Ice Cream Man, just because they're sort of, I don't know, I think they're a good pairing. I mean, they both came out in the 90s, both direct-to-video, horror comedies. Now, this is a film that I had known about for years and years and years, and unfortunately, it's just one of those films I just never got around to watching it. I think I would always see this one in the local video shop, and I always meant to get it, but I just always ended up picking something else, and then all of them closed around me anyway. But yeah, I was so happy to grab this one, and it was as good as what I was hoping it would be. I mean, the film is about a killer snowman. I mean, enough said, to be honest. I honestly think this movie is up there as one of the all-time kings of one-liners. Just so many, so many great, memorable one-liners in this film that just are going to stay with me forever, I have to say. You can tell that right from the beginning, these guys knew what type of movie they wanted to make. They knew they wanted it to be absolutely crazy, wacky, and just eccentric, and they just didn't hold back. And you can tell because they went just all out with the kills, and just how the narrative sort of twists and turns. They're just some of the most ridiculous scenes in this movie. I mean, here you can see on the back, this is a scene when they try and fight the snowman with a hairdryer. Quite effective in some ways, but I guess I wouldn't have ever thought that at some point I'd be watching three guys trying to kill a murderous snowman with a bunch of hairdryers. But here we have Jack Frost. I think this will become a staple around Christmas time. I think this will be a fun one to watch with the family. So that brings us to the end of the video. We hope that you enjoyed watching our collection video of the Vinegar Syndrome releases. Some of these movies are just so fun to talk about, and they're just so wacky. And I definitely, as I said before, if you're into sort of independent horror genre films and stuff like that, so they're definitely a label worth looking into because they put out some really quality stuff. If you've seen any of these movies or you have any suggestions for Vinegar Syndrome titles that I should pick up in the future, definitely let me know in the comments because I'm always looking to expand our collection, and as I said, we're new to Vinegar Syndrome, so we're always on the lookout for some more interesting titles, so that'll be good. If you enjoyed this video and you haven't already, feel free to subscribe. We should have a lot more collection videos coming out in the near future. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and yeah, we really appreciate it. I'll see you next time.